let's just start maybe with a bit of an introduction. I'm happy to start. So my name is Molly. I'm the Student Recruitment Marketing Assistant here at the college. So I work with our prospective students all the way from kind of the first time we get in touch with you guys and all the way through to when you step through our doors. So sending out prospectus, coming on a school visit, working on open days, and really just kind of looking forward to meeting you guys at every step in the process. I'll hand over to Ellie and Ellie.
I guess we have to find a way of which Ellie goes first, but I will give it a go. So, hello, my name is Ellie Yan, and I'm the International Business Development Officer at the RNCM. So I look after our international students and international applicants as well. So similar as Molly, we all work in the student recruitment team. So all we're here to support your journey over to the RNCM. So I'm gonna hand over to Ellie from here.
I'm Ellie, the other Ellie. I am the Admissions and Administration Assistant. I also am a graduate. I only recently graduated. I studied the flute on the BMAS course. So I'll be able to give you a bit of perspective from that point of view and from working in admissions. That's me.
Sounds great. Yeah, I think that we can probably start from talking a little bit of offers and scholarship, because from the questions that we have received before this session, a lot of you are wondering about what offer means and have I got a scholarship, how our scholarship are decided. So we'll probably start off by talking a little bit of that. But before we start, first of all, we want to say congratulations to you all who have received an offer this year and become a future Northerner. I know that it's a really tough year for all of us, and particularly for music students as well. So for you to have a success in your future music study and gain an offer to study at the RNCM is something that you should really celebrate, and it's something that we're really proud for you, and we are very excited over at the RNCM to hopefully be able to welcome you to join us to our community in September as well. So that's the first that we want to say from the student recruitment team, to really congratulate you and say how proud we are for all of you to be able to achieve this in such a tough year. And in terms of the offers, so usually we will give out two types of offers. It will be guaranteed offer and reserve offer. Guaranteed offer means that you are guaranteed a place, considering that you will meet the conditions that we set out. So those things will be listed on your UCAS application. So, for example, previous qualifications, English language, references. So those are the type of conditions offer holder usually see in their UCAS that you will need to meet. So once you meet all these conditions, you will become a guaranteed unconditional offer holder, which means that there's no conditions you need to meet, and you are guaranteed a place in September. So all job done. And another type of offers is reserve offer, meaning that we aren't able to guarantee you a place at this moment. So you are on our waiting list. So we will see how over spring and summer, and to see how our offer conversions are going. If there's a space available along those periods, we'll start to convert your offer and it become a guarantee offer. So that's the thing. And being a reserve offer, in terms of accepting your offer, then you'll be given the choice to accept two different offers as well. So instead of only one for the guarantee offer holder. Hope I'm being clear here. Molly and Nelly, anything to add on offers?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was really clear. So yeah, one thing we do want to add, so if you are one of our guaranteed conditional or unconditional offer holders, you will receive an offer letter via email, and we aim to get those sent out within about a week of you getting your offer through UCAS. And as part of your offer letter, it will let you know what fee status you are. So whether you're a home or international student for your fees, really. And this is based on the information submitted in your UCAS application. So if you read that and say, oh, I'm not sure that category does apply to me, no problem. It's not set in stone. We're not kind of bound to what we've put there. Just get in touch with our admissions team and we can easily go through a fee status inquiry form with you And we can then look into it, check all the guidance and let you know kind of officially what fee status you will be. So no problem to get in touch about that. As Ellie said, for our guaranteed offer holders, you do have some conditions to meet. For our reserve offer holders, you may see that in your UCAS, you do still have those conditions there. But until your offer hopefully gets converted to guaranteed, and you don't need to worry about sending anything in at this stage. It is only when your offer potentially gets converted to guaranteed that you would need to submit those. Any supporting documents can just be sent via email to admissions@rncm.ac.uk. We'll put that in the chat at the end of this as well, so that you've got it there if you need it. We can then add those kind of to your accepted application, and then remove that condition from your UCAS, so it will be really clear to you what you have outstanding.
Yeah, perfect. And I think that maybe we can talk a little bit of scholarship as well. I think that is something that I've been submitted before the session as well. So how scholarship are decided, and is there any other fundings that the college can provide to support you and to enable your studentship, and what other financial considerations you should make being an offer holder of the RNCM? So in terms of scholarship, and all scholarships are decided at the point of your audition. So students, applicants are automatically being considered for scholarship. It's not something that you will have to make a separate application of. So if you are awarded a scholarship, it will be available in your offer letter. So you'll be able to see the amount, and it's usually entrance scholarship, meaning that it's only available for the first year of your study, and unless it states otherwise, and those things will be very clear in your offer letter. And in terms of other financial support, the college do offer bursaries as well. So bursary applications usually open in the spring, and then we will usually provide more information about bursary as well. So they are decided on needs and merit, and then you will need to submit a separate application form to our student finance team to make an application for that. And I think that with that, I think bursary is available for international students and postgraduate students, and obviously for our home UG student, it will be part of the consideration of your student loan application, which I think Molly and Ellie will probably know a little bit more about that than me.
Yeah, happy to chat a little bit about student loans. So from around March time, the student loan company will be open for applications. So on the government website, if you literally just type in student finance into an internet browser, it will come up and it'll be on the government website, and you can just really simply follow the process. Ellie, I know you've done that a lot more recently than we have. I didn't know if you wanted to chat a bit more about kind of how the process works as an applicant.
Yeah, it's a really easy process. You just submit the information that it asks you for at the time. It's likely that it will ask you about the income of your parents or the people that you live with. And then from there, you'll get a quotation of what you'll be given in your maintenance loan for the next year. And you'll also be told about the tuition fee that will be covered. You'll get a breakdown of how that's going to be paid to you when you'll be receiving your installments and the amount of those installments. And then they'll follow that up with messages closer to the time. So you'll get a text just before you're about to receive your installments of your maintenance loan. The tuition fee loan goes straight to the institution, so you don't see that money. But the maintenance loan is what you will see and what you'll receive the texts about nearer the time. But as the others have said, that's something you don't need to worry about just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very simple process, as Ellie has said. You are free to get in touch with us or our academic services at any time if you're unsure what to do. If you'd like a little bit more information, please do just ask. Don't worry about it. But yeah, the website is really clear on what you do need to do, and you will get texts, get letters, get emails, with further information kind of at every step of your student finance experience.
Yeah, definitely. And for the international student out there, it's always very useful and really important to plan your student finance in advance as well. Not only is your tuition fee, but also your maintenance fund during your study here in the UK and in Manchester. So generally speaking, the UKVI, which is the UK Immigration and Visa, suggested around £1,015 a month for maintenance. That's including accommodation and the living cost. So that gives you a benchmark of how much money you will need to prepare in addition to tuition fee to support yourself during your study here in Manchester. And I think Manchester, we will all agree, is quite a reasonable city to live in terms of living costs. It's not as expensive as the capital, and it's quite I think mid-tier city in terms of like a living cost wise, where you are surrounded by students as well. So there are plenty of student friendly options for you in terms of living here in Manchester, which we can probably talk a little bit more later on in this session. And so it's really important to plan your finance ahead, and do be wary of conversions, because if you are not used to seeing costs in pounds, make sure you always convert it in your local currency to just have an idea of the financial commitment as needed for our international student out there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, as Ellie has said, it is important to consider those finances, especially when it comes to your visa application as well. Again, we will fully guide you through that process, and we're happy to provide Zoom calls, extra support, and provide information via email about the process of gaining a CAS and getting your visa as well. So again, please don't worry about any of that. When the time comes, we'll get in touch with some information and let you know exactly what to do. And if at any point you have questions, we do host 2 drop-in sessions a week, currently one on a Tuesday afternoon and one on a Friday morning. So you can always jump in and just ask one of us a question if you'd prefer to talk face-to-face as well. That's always an option.
Yeah, definitely. And then come speak to us. I think like we offer so many sessions here on Instagram Live now, and then also our drop-ins, and then we just want to make sure that you are supported and then your questions answered. So do feel free to submit any questions you have in the session, like add a comment below, and then we'll just answer it live here and then straight away. And if there's anything that we can't answer straight away, then we'll always follow up with an email and some further information from other teams in the college as well. So maybe we will just start chatting about accommodation. Is another question that we've been asked quite a lot. So for on-time applicants who accept their offer by the February deadline, a accommodation is guaranteed at the Sir Charles Grove Hall, which is the accommodation next door. So you will be guaranteed to be offered a room if you follow the process of the bookings, and so those will be available to you. I think Molly, like, would you like to offer some more details of the accommodations as well?
Yes, absolutely. Very happy to chat. So yeah, Sir Charles Groves Halls, which is the kind of main accommodation provider that we work with, they are owned by Unite students. And the accommodation is available to students across the city. So not just students at the RNCM, but we do use a large proportion of their rooms. So again, we will send you an email with further information throughout the process, but we'll send you an email in a couple of months' time with a booking link to fill in a form and to let us know any preferences for who you'd like to live with. We can't guarantee that we can meet everything you'd like, but we do our absolute best to try and meet that criteria. If you'd like to just live with a certain gender, just live with people on a certain course, and we can look into that for you and see what the possibilities are. It is an absolutely brilliant place to live. Those of you who have come on an in-person audition, you may have been around with some of our student ambassadors, and there's a really nice courtyard space as well. So we did find that during the first lockdown, some of our students were able to use that space for, especially the vocal students, for their more practical classes. And that was a really nice space and really nice sun there. Ellie, did you actually live out halls a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I did. I lived in halls for my first and second year of my studies, so sometimes it is an option for you to stay if you really like it. You can live in halls basically, if they have the room for you, you can stay there throughout the entirety of your course if you want to. It's not the only option. So in my third year, I then moved out into a house, and that was rented through a separate estate agent. And in my fourth year, I moved to another flat that was actually another halls of residence, but it wasn't the Sir Charles Groves. So there are plenty of options. Obviously, the closest, most convenient one for you might be the Sir Charles Groves Hall. But if you are looking for something at a different price range, whether that's more expensive or more or cheaper, there are plenty of options in Manchester. One of the companies that we'd recommend having a look into is Manchester Student Homes. I think Ellie, Jan, you have a bit more information about that, don't you?
Yeah, I think that absolutely. I think Tom in the chat mentioned that do you have to live in Hull, which Ellie have already answered. No, you don't. And Hull is just somewhere that we have a relationship of, so that we recommend Hull as a accommodation option to our offer holders and our students. But you absolutely have the choice to make the decision yourself. So there's a Manchester Student Home, like Ellie mentioned, is a sort of like a state agency. Is a estate agency that you can look for rental properties, and it's organized by University of Manchester, University of Salford, Manchester Met, and ourselves. So it's organized by the universities to provide safe and checked accommodations suitable for students. So you can go on to look at the resource there and then for rental places and not have a peace of mind that it's been checked and is suitable for students. And in addition to Manchester Student Home, RNCM is positioned really well close to the city centre and among the university as well. So there are plenty of living options in the city centre, in private rental properties, or in other student accommodation as well, whether you want to go super high end or find like slightly more reasonable options. There are plenty of choices around Manchester and around the RNCM that you can go for. So yes, definitely.
Yes, we've also had a very good question from Emily in the chat as well about halls. So she's asked, can you only live in halls in the first year? And the simple answer to that is no. If you want to live in halls all the way through, you're very welcome to. We do have a number of our older students, either postgraduate or later in their studies. They do choose to stay at halls just because it's convenience. You can also practice in halls for certain hours during the day as well, where you may find in private accommodation maybe harder to find that space, whereas at halls, so everyone's used to you practicing and everyone likes to hear it as well. So yeah, you're very welcome to live at halls all the way through if you'd like to.
Yeah, great. I think we can probably talk a little bit of the courses that we offer here. I think that Emily in the chat mentioned that how many courses do we offer at the RNCM, which is probably gonna be hard for us to come up with a number straight away, but we can try our best to round up the courses that we offer here and maybe chat a little bit more about the study here. Obviously, Ellie here being our previous student and also working at the recruitment team now and being able to offer a little bit more insight into the student life as well. So let's try to do it, team. So the courses that we offer here, we have bachelor degree courses, which is we currently offer 3 degree programs. So it will be Bachelor of Music honors for our classical students out there, and we have Bachelor of Music in Popular Music for our popular music student out there, and also we offer a unique drawing course with together with the University of Manchester, and that's graduate GRNCM, isn't it? So graduate diploma of the RNCM. I think
yes,
like
so
the
students would come out with 2 degrees. They would both study simultaneously with us and with the University of Manchester. So they study with us for the full 4 years and study with the University of Manchester just for 3 years, because it's only a 3-year course at the university. So they'd come out with, as Elliot said, a graduate diploma of the RNCM and a Bachelor of Music from the University of Manchester. So it is an incredibly rare, amazing course, and we're kind of the only one of its kind in the UK, I believe. The head of the course, Michelle, does always say when she talks about it, it is for students who like to be busy, but that's busy in the best sense, because you get to learn, really kind of hone into the academic side of music and really learn your practical skills as well. And you get the best of both worlds being able to study at both institutions.
Yeah, certainly. And I think we can move on to postgraduate level. So at postgraduate level, we have a Master of Music and we have Master of Performance. So those two master degrees, you can have two different pathways. You can have the normal 2-year course length, or you can also have the intensive pathway, which the degree program will only be 1 year. So the program itself will be exactly the same, or it's just the length of time you use to complete those degrees are different. So for the intensive, it will be a very busy, as the course name indicates, it will be a very busy year for you at the RSCM to finish the degree program. We often get asked, like, what's the difference between Master of Music and Master of Performance program as well. So just a little tip from the recruitment team here. So the Master of Music offer greater flexibility in your degree study. So you will have plenty of choices to mold the degree study to what suits you and what your interest is. So there will be more elective within your degree study, whereas the Master of Performance have components about recording projects, which is very unique in its kind. So you will work with a professional recording studio and then to learn about really the industry insight about being a recording artist, musician, and also there is a pedagogy components as well. So you will learn about teaching music and being an educator as well. So it's less flexibility within the program, but really horn into pedagogy and being a performing artist as well. I think that's the general idea of the differences within those two programs. And we also have our PG DIP, which is Postgraduate Diploma Advanced Studies. So those are, this course is aimed for students who have already completed a master degree level course and wanted to really elevate their study and go for a further year of training in music and also academically as well. So that's like the 3 main postgraduate courses we offer. And we also offer really prestigious international artist diploma as well. So that's a very, like I said, a prestigious degree program at postgraduate level that we offer to students who are really excel in their performance and are ready to take on a career as an international artist. So there's rigorous audition process for that program, and each is really popular among our students as well. So that's international artist diploma, and then we also have our research degree program as well for the students who are interested in MPhil or PhD studies. Have I missed anything?
I don't think so.
We've
had quite a few questions come through. So I was thinking it could be worth just going through the questions that we had in advance, and then going through the questions in the chat. And then again, if anything else kind of pops into your head, those who are listening, please do feel free to keep your questions coming. So the first question that we've not already covered that we had in advance is important tips for a stage 2 audition. So we are still holding some in-person auditions and online auditions. So we do have a set tomorrow, which is very exciting. We're really looking forward to meeting you all virtually or in person. The first thing we'd say is, however kind of cliche it may be yourself. You've made it through the first stage, and our heads of school and our tutors really they want to meet you properly. They've watched your video and they want to hear more about what you do. They want to learn about your passions and learn about how you want to kind of learn as a musician. So we definitely say be yourself, don't worry about mistakes. Again, we're not looking for someone who is an absolutely professional musician and doesn't make a single error. And we're looking for someone we can work with and who wants to learn. So there I would say are probably my 2 points. I don't know if you guys have any more.
I would say when you're choosing your audition pieces, whether this is for stage 1 or stage 2, make sure you choose something that you enjoy and that you're comfortable with. It's quite easy to kind of work yourself up and try to choose something that's the hardest thing you'll be able to play. And whilst it's good to show off your skills, it's really important that you get across your comfortability with your instrument and, you know, how much you love what you do. So I would say go for a piece that you really, really love playing over something that might be a bit more showy, but obviously playing to your skills in the best way you can.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think I have anything to add on top of that. I think that, again, we're just wishing you all the luck in your stage 2 audition.
Absolutely. The next question was how do I get my student loan after being accepted? So in terms of student loans, like we said a little bit earlier, you'll be contacted and guided by Student Finance, and they will let you know exactly how you access your loan. As Ellie said, you will get texts to say your student loan is coming in 3 days' time, or however long it may take, but they will tell you exactly how to access that.
Yeah.
The next process was what is the audition process like for singers? Who wants to take that one?
Ellie?
So for this year, the first round of auditions is online. So when you create your UCAS Conservatoires application, you also create your accepted application, which is a separate application. Now this is online, and you submit recorded videos of the pieces in your audition requirements. These can be found online, or if you have any questions about them, you can email those to admissions@rncm.ac.uk. But once you've submitted those recordings through the accepted portal, these get sent through to us and we review them. Once we've reviewed them and we've come to a decision on whether you'll be progressing to stage 2 or not, you'll receive the outcome of that. And if you are invited to a stage 2 audition, you can decide to take this either online through Zoom, or you can do this in person. The audition requirements for that are also online on our website, but that's a brief kind of structure of the auditions for this year, and that's for every instrument for most courses.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really simple process, and when you submit your recorded audition, you can then pick where you'd like your round 2 to happen, if you're invited for that. But again, any questions, just get in touch with us, and we're happy to answer all your questions, be it on the email or on a phone or on a Zoom call. The next question was, for accommodation, do I have to pay all the money up front to keep the same room for a year? The short answer for this one, I'm happy to take it, is if you're a UK student with a UK-based guarantor, then no, you're able to pay in instalments. If you don't have a UK-based guarantor, it is a little bit more complicated, because the guarantor is someone who is there to basically be able to pay your fees if for any reason you are unable to pay that amount to your accommodation. So if you do have a UK-based guarantor, it is a little bit more flexible on how you pay your accommodation.
Yeah, great.
Cool. Should we go through the chat?
Yes, I think I have the question on the side here, so we can just go through them one by one. Hopefully we haven't missed any, but please feel free to just let us know and then ask again, and then we will try our best to cover them. So I think the first one that from the order that I've been submitted is for student finance, what does maintenance budget entail? So I think that it's important to budget everything that in your student life here in Manchester and study at the RNCM. So the big part will be your accommodation cost, and also your living expense, like your food, transport, and also just general living expenses that usually bills, for example. And what's good is that the student doesn't pay council tax, I don't think, living here in the UK. So that's one of the bills that you don't have to worry about, but utilities and internet and having a phone bill, just the general things. I think that the figure that the UKVI quoted, which is 1,015, include all those bills. So that just gives you a benchmark of what to expect in terms of a monthly budget that includes everything else other than your tuition fee of being a student here in the UK. And obviously this figure will vary differently depending on the lifestyle that you are used to. So it could be a lot higher or a lot lower depending on what you are used to. So it just gives you a general indication. Hope I answered the question. Anything to add?
No, not at all.
Okay, great. Shall we move to the next question?
Absolutely.
So can you take MPerf classes such as the pedagogy class as a MA student? Yes, I think so. Like I said, the MS program offers flexibilities in designing the course that suit your interest and suit your career aspirations. So if pedagogy is something that you are really interested in, you can absolutely select practical pedagogy as one of the elective if it's available in the year of your study. So if you can have a look at the program structure on our website, so if you can just search Master of Music on the RNCM's website, you will be able to see a drop-down list of all the electives that's available during your program, and the practical pedagogy is one of them. So you can just have a look at that and then see, other than pedagogy, what else that you're interested in as well.
And one thing I'd just like to add there as well is just to say we do have an open class policy. So wherever possible, if there is space in a class and you're not studying that module, or you're not studying a course that has that module, as Ellie has said, just speak to the tutor who's running that class. And if there's space, you're very welcome to sit in. Obviously, you wouldn't be assessed in it. And if it was a performance class, you wouldn't necessarily be able to perform. But it's a great opportunity to still learn from your peers and gain a bit more knowledge on the side as well.
Yeah, definitely. Shall we move on to the next one? Yes. So what does the 4-year course offer that a 3-year course from another conservatoire wouldn't? So I think it's just the difference between our 4-year courses compared to a usual 3-year course, I guess. I think might direct the question to Ellie here, being a recent graduate of ours, to talk about her experience, perhaps, like as a student here.
Yeah, so for me, I really appreciated having the extra year. It just means that your course is a bit more spread out, so you've got that extra year to develop. You know, most people that come to college are looking to improve their performance skills, and that's something that really does just take a bit of time. So having that extra year of tuition and practice is vital in making the most out of your degree. So it's really just about spreading that out and getting the most out of the time and making what you can of it, especially in the first year, because there is quite a step up between A-level and conservatoire level learning music for UK students. So it's just giving you time to kind of get used to conservatoire life and make the most out of your tuition, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything that you would like to add, Molly? I know that you study music as well.
Yeah, so interestingly, I did study at a conservatoire, and I actually studied on a 3-year course at a conservatoire. And although I studied on a 3-year course, I would actually really agree with Ellie in the fact that that 4th year does give you that extra learning time. 3 years really isn't a long time, because you kind of come in on the first year, you're brand new, and then your 3rd year, you're looking to the end, so you've only got that 1 year in between. So students who do a 3-year course with us, you would come in kind of directly into a different place, and it would be that you've got different kind of qualifications when you begin. So I really would say 4 years, absolutely. It just gives you more time to learn, and especially with music, it's different. It's really about your skill, your practice, and the more time you've got to to do that work, the better, really.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that gets like a nice comparison of the degree program here. I think that the bachelor's degree level program here at the RNCM are all 4 years, although we do offer direct entry to year 2 if you have completed like previous qualifications that are equivalent to our year 2 level. So you'll be able to enter into year 2 of our Bachelor of Music program and then still complete your program in 3 years, if I explain it clearly. So yeah, there is a 3-year way, but the program itself will be 4 years. And like Molly and Ellie said here, like the 4 year is a really quick time when you think about it, looking back, and it's just a valuable experience to have that extra year of training in your program. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yes, sorry, just noticed one I've missed earlier, so I'm happy to cover that one. So someone has asked roughly how many students are taken on per principal study / instrument, which is a great question, and it is one we get asked a lot in terms of how number of flutes do you take, how many trumpets do you take, and honestly, it is different year on year. It depends on the layout. Obviously, we're looking for students to be able to form an orchestra, to be able to play with each other, because it would be amazing to have 20 absolutely fantastic flautists, but if there's no one there who plays the double bass, then we're missing a whole section of an orchestra, and then that means that other students can't get that same experience. So really it does depend year on year. We don't have a specific number that we take, so we can't kind of give you a figure, but we're looking for a nice broad range of instrumentalists, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I would definitely agree with Molly here, and it is quite a fine balance. We call it ecology here in the recruitment team, because we want to make sure that all the students that we recruit and then being part of our community have a good experience and a fair experience being a student. That means that I have access to all the wonderful professional opportunities and performance opportunities that we have on offer, being able to participate in them, audition for them. So it is quite a fine number each year, and it varies each year that of the student of a particular instrument that we can recruit, and that and then goes for our students in the popular music courses. So across the board, we can't really give a specific number on each instrument or vocal type, I think. Great. Move on to the list, shall we?
Yes.
I think the next one will be roughly how many places are there in each course and how many places on popular music. I think that's quite similar to our answer to per instrument. The number of students we recruit on each course is related to what their principal studies are, so what their instruments are, what their vocal type are. So it's quite hard to put a number on the number of students we recruit on each course, I'd say, unless Molly and Ellie have something to add about that.
No, I would totally agree with you there. It's not kind of a number that we can put on things. So yeah, we just love to get applicants and to hear you guys play. So yeah, we don't put specific numbers on courses. Yeah,
certainly. I think the next question will be, is the audition similar to an exam? Bracket, you have to sight read or do any oral test, or do you just perform? Ellie, I might just get it back to you to explain probably a little bit more of our audition process, perhaps.
Yeah, so it very much varies depending on what instrument you are. So for some instruments, they will be asked to do what's called a quick study. So slightly different to sight reading. You'll be given it in the warm-up room beforehand, so you do have a little bit of time to prepare. But it's the same kind of idea as sight reading, where we're testing your skills at learning things quickly. It is similar to a music exam, like qualification, like for example ABRSM exam, in the sense that there's a panel, and you're performing to them, and they'll be making notes in the same way that they would in a graded exam. But yeah, as far as the oral tests and the sight reading tests are concerned, it very much varies.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I think the next question we have is, how difficult is it to get/maintain a part-time job while studying a BA performance course? So first of all, I think we are a BMUS course, so hopefully you have applied to the right course, and it doesn't really matter the title of the course, but in terms of having a part-time job, yes, I think that most of our students will be able to get or maintain a part-time job during their study. I think in terms of official answers, I can draw information from UKVI again, which is the UK Immigration and Visa. For example, for international student on a student visa, they can have a part-time job for up to 20 hours per week. So that's like the kind of like a benchmark of how much work that the UKVI see as appropriate for students to be engaged in during their study, and you can work full-time during holiday time and term breaks as well. So I think that that's probably an indication of the hours that you can expect having a part-time job during the study. However, I think that the experience do vary depending on different students, because you will have different projects you'll be involved in during your study. So it might be a period where you are very busy, then you won't be able to have any extra time to maintain a part-time job as well. I think especially for our music students, it's really important to put your study as a priority, and then embrace the experience that and any opportunities that RNCM can offer to you. And if you are able to, I hope that answers part of the question. I'm going to pass it over to Molly and Ellie to probably talk a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so well, kind of going off what Ellie said about kind of making sure that your performances and your studies are a priority, absolutely 100% agree with that. And as a college, we offer actually a large number of employment opportunities internally, and those employments do allow you to put your studies first, because we know as a musician that is what a priority. That's why you're here. That's why you're studying with us, and we don't ever want financial reasons or work reasons to kind of hinder your studies. So we do offer work through things like the Student Ambassador Scheme, and through working on our cafe, through our front of house team, and many other areas in the college. So you're able to go through a normal job application process and be fully employed. So you can then, once you graduate, you can then use members of staff at the college for references, just as if you'd worked in a shop or if you'd worked in a theatre or something like that. So that's another great way to gain some experience. And if actually a couple of days before a really exciting performance project came up and someone else could cover your shift, that wouldn't be a problem. We understand that does take priority.
Also, to add to that, if you are interested in getting involved with the Students' Union, if you run for one of those roles, the officer roles are non-sabbatical, which means that you continue your studies, you're not taking any time out, but they are paid. You get a termly fee for that work. So that's another option within college that really works alongside your studies and even complements them. So that's an option too.
Yeah, I think that hopefully creates like a nicely roundup of different opportunities within and outside of your study that you'll be able to engage in, and to have some additional income to support your study while being a student here at the RNCM. Moving on to the next question. For postgraduate courses, how are fees paid? Bracket annually, termly, etc. So I think for most of our students, fees are invoiced annually. However, I think if you have any difficulty paying the fee annually, there are ways that our student finance team will be able to discuss a payment plan with you. And I think that's usually arrange termly payment, isn't it? So yeah, they will be able to work with you and then arrange a payment plan that is suitable. But yeah, it's usually either annually or termly. Yeah. Moving on to the next questions. How do you choose which tutor is right for you for individual lessons? I'm gonna ask the two musicians here.
Yeah, I'm happy to start this one off, and then I'll pass over to Ellie. So it's a great question, and we do have a number of tutors. As part of our offer holder days, which if you are on our wind brass percussion course or strings, you would already have had yours, and then we have 4 more coming up next week, which we are very excited about. As part of those events, we do offer taster principal study lessons with some of our tutors. You do not get to experience all the tutors, so if later on down the line you'd like to really make sure you pick the right tutor, please get in touch with us, and we do offer a paid consultation lesson process, so you can have a lesson with one of our tutors and really work out who you think you'd work best with as a musician. We're very flexible in terms of the way you choose. Ellie, I don't know if you want to talk a bit about it from personal experience.
Yeah, so generally, once you've had your audition, the panel will kind of know you're playing quite well. So if you have no idea, they're always good people to go to for advice on who might be the best teacher. And then using those taster lessons is a great opportunity, and maybe having a few consultation lessons if you feel like you want them. If you haven't applied yet, and you're considering of applying and you don't know which conservatoire might be the best for you based on the tutors there, you can apply for advice auditions, which are paid opportunities to play to a panel, and they'd be able to give you a kind of pointer in the right direction as to who might be best for you to learn with if it's not them. So there's loads of ways you can find out. They all have their profiles are on our website, so you can read about them and what they've done and whether it kind of suits your what you want to be doing. So yeah,
Sounds great. Moving on, I think it's a similar question, but on a different aspect. So what is the academic study like? What kind of essays do you do? Maybe start with Ellie, if you can remember what type of academic classes you have taken during your study here and any particular essays that you remember?
Yeah. So obviously I only studied as an undergraduate, so I studied the Bachelor's of Music course. It does vary between courses, but so in your first and second year, I had classes that everyone took. From my second year, I could start electing courses, and that's when you get to kind of choose which electives you'd be most interested in, and then those the essays that you'll write will be based on those subjects. But these involve music history and analysis of that. We have options to go into music pedagogy. If you're interested in music psychology, there's that. There's honestly so much stuff you can learn about. You can learn about music therapy. There's so many options, and the essays will be based around the electives that you choose.
Yeah. Molly, do you have anything to add from your experience studying?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ellie's covered it all really. The essays really are based on which electives you choose really, and I always found them as a musician a great experience to kind of delve deeper into something. Even if you're not that interested in writing, it is really nice to be able to do a bit more research and learn more about some particular topic that you are learning about as well. So really do use the essays as a good chance to do some research around some composers you're working with, or anything like that.
Yeah, certainly. I think that I will also add that for our international students out there, like don't be afraid if you are not used to the UK's academic system. We have pre-sessional English support offered by our wonderful Gina Ma, which is our English language support tutor. If your English language level is slightly below our requirement, then we do offer additional English language training before your class start to introduce you the UK's academic system, as well as build your vocabulary being studying in music, and as well as generally improve your English skill. However, during your study as well, we do offer in-session English support as well. So Jean will be able to support you with those essay work and then help you and support you in those academic classes as well. So like, don't be afraid if you are not thinking that you're thinking that your English is not great as like a native speakers, or you think that you are not familiar with the English essay system, then there's definitely support here for you at the RNCM. Okay, so next question. What opportunities do you offer / what connection to other organizations do you have? I think, yeah, we do. We offer, like we said, we offer plenty of professional opportunities and performance opportunities as well. I think that it's really important as a music college that we stay connected to the industry, and they always proud ourselves to be very innovative and to have great professional links so that our students can have the real life experience being a musician, working in the music industry during their study here. So I think we can probably name a few of the professional partners that we work with off the top of my head. For example, BBC Philharmonic, the Halle Orchestra, Manchester Camerata, and Manchester Collective, the Opera North. And for our popular music students, we have like specific popular music connections as well. I think there's a international worldwide professional network called Interplay that we are part of, that link with other popular music schools around the world to create like unique offers to our students. Anything else to add in terms of our partners?
I think that's a really good kind of range of partners you mentioned there. We do have some more information on our website if you want kind of a full list of our partners. And I do believe we have had a follow-up question from the same person who has said, due to COVID, is there a negative impact on your opportunities and internships? And I think that is a really good question. I don't think we can ignore the fact that COVID has been here for the last few years. Ellie, your final part of your studies was through COVID. I don't know if you want to touch on how that did or didn't affect your studies.
Yeah, so obviously it was a drastic change, what with it being a very hands-on practical course. But we managed to successfully transfer most of our studies to online. We had loads of classes, so I was involved with lots of flute classes online in the same way that they would have been in the building. We still had orchestral opportunities, lots of learning about repertoire and having a go at things in small online settings. And then when things came back, you know, we had social distanced ensemble work, and now throughout the course of the last year, things have kind of progressed from there and are becoming a bit more back to how they were before. But there was plenty of stuff that kind of went on online to replace the stuff that was meant to be happening in the building. So through those repertoire classes we had online, there were lots of sessions with international artists that we wouldn't have got to do if it wasn't for things being online. So although we, you know, lost a few performance opportunities in the building, we definitely gained things that we would have never even thought of. So yeah, not all was lost.
Absolutely. I think we really tried to work out ways that we could transfer everything to an online setting. It was really important that our students still benefited from everything they would benefit from if they were in the building. Talking about things in the building, I know we're nearly at the end of time. Just wanted a quick mention of our offer holder events, which are happening next week. So if you are one of our guaranteed offer holders, you will have received an email over the last couple of weeks about your offer holder event and a chance to book onto this as well. So on Monday, the 24th, we have our popular music offer holder event. Tuesday is our School of Keyboard Studies. Wednesday is the School of Vocal Studies and Opera. And then we have a composition on Thursday. So again, if you've got any questions about those events, please do get in touch. If your email mentioned Taster Principal Study Lessons, we will be scheduling those and we will inform you of who they are with, either in advance of the day or when you come. And we're really looking forward to meeting those of you who can join us in person. And if you can't join us in person, please do get in touch. We're happy to chat with you over Zoom, put you in touch with some of our students, and really make sure you still have that great opportunity to learn about the exciting things that happen in Manchester.
Yeah, sounds great. I think that we'll probably give a shout out to our social media channels as well. And hoping that if you join us here on Instagram Live, you'll social our Instagram account. And then we also have amazing content on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube as well. So do follow us and see other resources that are available for our offer holders. I think we will, over spring and summer, we'll offer different sessions online and offline, hopefully to our offer holders, and then providing you opportunities to know us a bit better and support you over the journey for you to join us in September. So yes, that's from me.
Great. Well, just thank you everyone for joining us. We've just posted the admissions email address for the person who has asked about the information on the days mentioned. Please send us an email at admissions and we'll double check that you've been sent an email, and if not, we'll make sure that comes straight over to you tomorrow. Not a problem at all. So yeah, again, thank you from all of us, and we really hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye.